minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one, zero.
Hashtag Real Race Talk. It's the Revved Up Sports Show talking local, regional, and national action. Here's Bobby Chaffee and Rodney Rodriguez.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to your favorite Monday show on a Tuesday. That is indeed the award-winning show, the show that started it all, the Revved Up Sports Show, post-Snowball Derby weekend hangover, if you will, for one of us anyway.
My dumbass was looking for Monday Night Football a while ago, guys. We're all thrown off here, man. It's like, where's the game of the week, man? Nothing doing. No Gotti. No Gotti. Yeah, indeed. Welcome in. We can talk some snowball here in just a little bit. You guys, if you want to be a part of the conversation, we would love to hear from all of you. Hello, Rick. Hope you were doing well, my man. Bobby, I don't know where you want to start. It's one of those things to where we can. I know where we need to start because I think a lot of folks. Now here we are into December. Man, we've still got one big one in South Texas coming up. And that's coming up this weekend, and that is going to be one big-ass shindig happening over at the ranch.
I hope everything works out fine with that deal. And I mean with radar.
Oh, I haven't even looked at that. Is that...
It looks like it could be a problem, but it's going to be late enough where they probably get everything in before it actually happens. At least the radar I saw a couple of days ago. So,
well, I'll tell
you know what that is, like a week out, right?
Tell you the thing about it is, Owen's crisp and fast, so that's definitely something there that that he's going to be trying to move that as soon as possible. I did see, and I haven't talked to Owen in about a week or so, but I saw that he posted right there about parking, and I think that it's going to be extremely important that not become an issue whatsoever, because that is the one thing that you don't need is for parking to become an issue.
Well, I mean, you would think so, that it wouldn't become an issue. What I disliked was that he said that he had to he had to actually hurt people's feelings by saying it, right? It's like, dude, come on, when you come to a big ass show that's notoriously known for having a bunch of big-ass car count, you're probably going to have an issue there with parking, especially the big rigs. They mentioned it at Texana, because Texana, while they have some decent-sized pits, I mean, they park by size during the Clash and other stuff. So, I mean, be prepared. I mean, it's a showcase race for your limited modified sport mods, whatever you want to call them. If you show up with a factory stock, may not be the best parking for you because it's a modified show or a sport mod show. It's not a factory stock show for once around here. So,
and then of course on top of that, you crown your South Texas champions. I think that's kind of gone by the wayside a little bit, in my opinion. It's something that you haven't really heard about. I was actually curious if that was something that was still happening, and it is. It definitely is. So you still got that. We looked at the point standings and so forth a couple of weeks back, I think it was, and unfortunately I don't have them in front of me, but I remember some of those are pretty tight, and that the bragging
top three is
rights,
pretty close.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So you're going to have that as well, and it's going to be a jam show, and like that post said, and you can find it on the South Texas Race Ranch page there where it's talking about it, and I think it's directed more to the racers, to where you guys don't make this an issue with yourselves, and I think if the racetrack's going to give you direction, you need to take that direction because it's their damn show.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of modified stuff, did you know anything about that one modified tour that popped up there the last little bit? I haven't.
I have nothing. I know nothing about the South Texas IMCA.
I hadn't heard anything about that pop up, and then boom, there it is. It's like, which is strange because it seemed like Cotton Bowl didn't have an issue with their modified count.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think it's odd. I'm surprised Waco didn't try to get in on that.
Well, and Waco's. I
guess they're working with Boyd though.
Well,
so
and they've been running the Touring Outlaw Modified Series is what's been at Waco, and that was certainly a lot better this year because Waco made the decision to not run IMCA Modifieds because they were struggling with those and they were paying. The year before it's
$1,000 win, and we're getting what 6-7 cars.
$1,000, 6 or 7 cars, and that's not that's not good business, and it was guaranteed purse. What they were doing, but I don't know anything about this. I saw that while I was gone, and I reached out. I mean, it's very vague information at this point, so it's a little cryptic kind of with what is there. So I was actually hoping that we'd be able to see maybe a little bit more, just to know who's behind this. I mean, to me, is because when those things drop, and I'm certainly not questioning what they are
validity,
the validity of what they're doing, but it's like one of those things when I start seeing stuff like that, I start thinking back, okay, but the fact is that you have those track emblems on there. I'm assuming the tracks are on board if this is actually something. I would think the racetracks are doing their due diligence there for as to who may be doing this. So
somebody had to put it together.
Whoever you are, ought to say something.
Yeah, they ought to put a face to a post for sure, to a series. I mean, obviously, I think it helps certain racetracks.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it helps all of them in terms of getting a bigger car count because you don't really have a, Corpus, Owen, he runs them sporadically just because they don't show up all the time down there. But they ran them at Texana. And we had a pretty good car count first couple of races of the season with the IMCA modifieds, and then boom, dropped off 3, 4, 5 cars. That was it. Well, so I think that there's a need for, I don't know if there's a need for another type touring series, but I mean if it runs for IMCA points and you get 20 cars to show up for a race, hell, that's good for everybody.
Well, and this is where you start getting into these things, and we watch it on all genres here to where. So you're splitting the field. I mean, you're splitting, and this is private. This is South Texas. This is for South Texas, and it does seem like in South Texas, other than Marianne and H's, that seems to be the place that always draws them in, no matter what. I mean, it seems like they could pay $200 to win, and you're going to have 14, 15, 16. But it goes back to them that they've got their core group. It's not you have some guys that travel in, but you have guys that have run the big mods for a long time. That's where they're choosing to race. For whatever reason, and bigger racetrack, you got more room to race. I mean,
those cars are more accustomed to big track and high speeds.
I've heard a lot of that. Different scenarios right there, but it really is. I know. I don't exactly know, and you guys can feel free to tell us what. I know there's rule changes with IMCA modifieds, and I know I still go back to. There's lots of different reasons, and I'm sure everybody has them, and I'm sure they're all valid. But this really, in my opinion, Bobby, all goes back to, you want to spend that kind of money, or do you want to spend almost that kind of money and go win 10,000 rather than 1,000 in a factory stock?
I mean, the
$30 tires, man.
I know, for now.
Well,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends on what you want to race. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's like when you say, draw me a race car. Back in the day, I've got like one of those little caricature things that they draw out like the theme parks and stuff from like 1993. I have on a Florida State, ironically, 1993 national champions.
Oh, that team is staying home.
Damn, that brought up a lot of. If there was ever a year for a 12-team playoff, this is it.
You notice in Michigan, nobody's talking about them cheating. Now, all them cheating scandals seem to have gone away.
Yeah.
Well done, committee.
Yeah. I mean, they ain't gonna steal symbols from Alabama. Well, they gonna steal one signal from Alabama. That one.
They're gonna think they're stealing symbols from Alabama, but Nick Saban's got a whole different Nick Saban said he's been getting harassing. Nick Saban's already planting the seed here to destroy them. Nick Saban was saying that somehow he's getting harassing phone calls from all these different people, and it's distracting him and all this shit. Give me a break.
Michigan's gonna get lit up in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, they are. I can't wait for that rematch of Tuscaloosa. That's gonna be so fun.
It's hard to beat a team twice in one season.
No. Oregon did, or Washington did it.
Yeah, barely, both times.
That's all right. One or 50. A win is a win, but that's a different discussion. But with the modifieds, it's again, I think you're dividing the drivers. Maybe not when you're dealing with North and South and different points right here. I love the concept. I think it definitely. I like the fact that adding kind of 105 to this because
that's a kicker. I was surprised to see that logo on there too.
Mm-hmm. So that definitely means whoever this is doing some homework and is doing some
because they don't run big mods at 105.
No, I know.
They don't run big mods at 105. So it's it just goes back. It's like, what do you want to run? You want to run the factory stock that pays $5,000 to win for a big show, or you want to spend $30,000 on an IMCA modified? Which race car do you want to get? If you say draw me a race car, they draw on modifieds or they draw on factory stocks now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right. South Texas IMCA, that's the other part. That's the other part. When I saw that in there, it would be one thing if it was South Texas Modified Series, but South Texas IMCA Modified Series, that's in there. So, I don't think that the IMCA would
you don't think that would
satellite themselves off. I don't know.
I wouldn't put the IMCA logo on there unless it had something to do with IMCA.
And if you did, and they don't know, you ain't gonna have a series because you've got bigger trouble. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's something that comes into my man Tim Sewell, something that's been in a process for a few years now. Well, that's great. I'm glad that it's finally coming to fruition. And is there something like this up north when it comes to the big modifieds, or is it just IMCA modifieds?
Not North Texas.
Yeah.
You'll see it in like when you during the summertime when you're randomly watching Flow Racing on like a Tuesday,
mm-hmm.
and it's like an IMCA tour. Like the same thing, but just more condensed for speed weeks or whatever, IMCA speed weeks or whatever. You'll see it like a USRA speed, not US, with soda or whatever that sanction is up north, for some modified. You usually see it as some kind of random speed week sanctioned by somebody when you're watching a full complete show on Flow Racing on like a Tuesday night.
Well, I know this is very new, or the announcement is very new, so I'm thinking that, I would say that by the end of the year, probably into the 1st of January, we'll maybe get more details. I think if it's IMCA, when it comes to rules and so forth, I think it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Seems like to me. I'm assuming this is going to be more purse-based or going to be more contingency, more maybe this is more of a point system to crown a champion down south. Maybe that's what it is. And if there is deep IMCA involvement, I think it's a really good move because obviously, like we're talking about, there is a lack of them other than Cotton Bowl Speedway, a lack of them in these other places. So much so that, like you're talking about with the 105, these tracks don't even try to run them. And why are you going to offer up a big purse if you don't get anybody around?
That's what all the promoters are thinking to themselves. Don't put up the money for a big purse. I guess I-37 runs big mods, but they've got a lot of
it's kind of the same.
Dinsmore's put a lot of money in there to get a lot of cars out for that. Get a lot of cars out of the weeds. So there's that. Money buys lots of things, including race cars and purses. So
let's take a look right there. Wesley Warren 105 just announced they are allowing an aftermarket chassis option. There you go, right there. So, and I'm glad this stuff is happening now. I'm really glad that all of this is happening now because now's the time to be doing this because you've got the one show that's coming up and then boom. A lot of these guys, they probably got them all ripped apart and are trying to figure out what's going to happen next. So I think it's great. I think it's great. And, man, I will tell you because I know I've talked about it on here before is that to me, I want strong modifieds, man. I want that class to be – I want that to be bigger than the factory stocks. In my opinion, that the first tastes of me for dirt more actively way back were with modifieds, but
the Miller National.
Yeah, but the big difference was back then you didn't have the sport mods, you didn't have the limited modifieds, you had a street stock class maybe, and that's really what you had. You didn't have tuners, you didn't have all these other things to where it's like what we see, on pavement. What happened with pavement? Now you've got a lot of different variations of race cars with, limited modifieds, E-mods. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on. There's a lot of options, but I get it. That money is hard to find. That shit don't grow on trees. That's for fucking sure.
Well, it's hard to find, but I mean, I think it's everybody. Nobody wants to move up or down. Everybody thinks that their shit is the best shit and that they need to run that class, right? I mean, I think that's a racer's prerogative. It ain't like the old days when you had 3 classes and you had to move up at the end of the year if you were the points champion. It ain't like it was 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's changed the mentality. I mean, if we were sitting at Longhorn Speedway in 1992, the year they disbanded the super stocks and moved everybody up a class, let the street stocks with the Camaros and the Novas change a little bit of their carburetor, let you guys in the street stocks move up with your Novas, played with the carburetor, move Chargers up to hobby stocks, and then can you imagine back then if we told you, oh, just wait, you'll have 8 classes running one night? We'd have been like, and you're only going to run at least once, if not twice a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's. I was actually talking to Mike Cullen this weekend at the Derby, and we were talking about those days when it was 20, 22, 24, 26 weeks, just back to back, and it didn't really matter if you got out there and you smashed your. And this is kind of the same. I mean, this is San Antonio as well, and hell, Corpus was doing it as well back then. I mean, it didn't matter if you got out there and you smashed that thing all to shit. I mean, you had a week.
I seen the Duke rebuild the damn car in a week.
Yeah, and
it wasn't painted when he got back. It had duct tape numbers, but the fact that he was back after firewall deep in turn number 2, came back with a new car.
Yeah, and you had that a lot to where you would have a wreck like that, and you swore it's like, oh, I'm taking a month off. Hell no. You were back at it. Maybe on Monday, and you were back at it, and you were there the next Friday or then later on Saturday. So this here, I think this has the makings to be something really, really cool for the modifieds. And honestly, the modifieds need something really cool down here because there is just not there's not the pizzazz right there. I mean. And it is with the modifieds because I know at Waco, I've been working at Waco to where I get out there and there are 6 or 7 cars and it's the best race of the night. And you've got other classes where there's 20 and they can't run 2 laps without a caution flag in the modifieds. Less cars, but just the way they race. I mean, the way they race is just.
You don't have
tremendous.
near as bad as it sounds. You don't have near many squirrels in the big mods in the IMCA modifieds as you do in some of the lower classes. Well, I don't know if it's because it's a money limitation thing or whatever the case may be, but you don't see as many. I mean, I'll call it. You don't see as many squirrels in the big mods as you do in some of the lower classes.
Well, and I think that's a lot of. You don't get a lot of younger. You don't get a lot of folks starting in the modifieds.
That's true.
Which I think that would be a crazy mistake. I mean, when you start doing that, I mean, it's like the kiddos that dive into a super late model. Even some of the kiddos that, man, this past weekend at Pensacola, dude, I was blown away by the modifieds. Holy smoke, man. I was on pit road there on Friday night, and my ears rang so bad, as loud and as fast as those cars are. And you think about that when you think about an asphalt modified, when you get somebody that has little to no experience, and they decide to
play games on the front row.
Yeah, and they want to be out here, and it's in a car running on 8-inch tires with 800 horsepower. Are you kidding me? That's where it would be like, okay, the track should be like, whoa, hold on. You need to do the old DCRST, put them in the back, make them start in a week for 4 weeks. Why is NFHS promoting that our stream is somewhere? Man, I didn't know anything about that. They're trying to get customers for the upcoming Texas high school football playoffs. I'm assuming it's on one of the streams. I don't know which one it is, but
it's on our stream on our page.
That thing's popping up, man. We got some invaders. We got some of those cyber freaks that are trying to dive in here.
Yeah, and, like they post like on every single page or every single post. Watch the game here. Watch the game here.
Maybe Maybe it's somebody from the South Texas IMCA modified shootout people that are trying to.
I mean, if it's legit NFHS, call us, man. We'll be back on the air with y'all again.
Damn right. Holler. We can make it happen. We can absolutely make it happen. But this is really cool. I wait for more details. And obviously, I mean, folks, I've messaged them a couple of times. If you want to drop that schedule, and you want to give some details to all these millions of people that are wanting to know what's the deal, we will tell them.
That's right.
We'll give you the platform.
One of the best places to do it are right here on these airwaves.
And it can even be like going to the gym. Your first time's free. From then on, you might have to pay, but the first time we'll let you in for free.
That works.
No, absolutely. South Texas IMCA Modified Series.
Did we jump way ahead on that? Did we jump ahead? I mean, I see it on your notepad. But
That's all right. I've got 3 things written down there to
right.
tell what kind of homework I've done. The other one, Mike Parker Memorial going to Texarkana. So the change right there, I don't know, or going, is that right? Going to Texarkana? Is that where they're going?
I hadn't seen it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is moving, or was it at Texarkana? I don't know.
No, it wasn't. Whatever.
It's moving.
Yeah, it was a rocket, I thought.
Yeah, I definitely know that. Thoughts on the 105? Thoughts on the 105 Gmod post? Tyler, I don't know. I've been out of pocket for a week, so I need to do my homework, and I will get you some thoughts. Feel free to enlighten us, and I will certainly give you my thoughts. Going to 67 Speedway. Thank you, Tim. Going to 67 Speedway. That's what I thought. So a change right there, and I think that I saw somewhere that was a promoter's option. The promoter at the prior location electing not to do it. Oh, the aftermarket chassis for the limited modifieds. Thank you, Wesley. Well, to be honest with you, this is going back to the economics that we.
How are you gonna run for IMCA points without an IMCA chassis?
Well, if it's limited, there's the other part of that. If it's not an IMCA deal,
it's a limited.
Yeah, limited modified. Yeah, there it is right there. So, that
just announced.
I'll tell you my thoughts on this. This is all going to be cost. Is this something? And you guys feel free to tell us, because you are the guys that run these cars. Is this something that's going to save you money, or is this something that's going to cost you money in your yearly budget? Because that's where I look at this. Like when we talk about factory stocks, when we talk about shocks, and we talk about all that different stuff, that's the question that I always go to. Is this something that's going to help the racer? Is this something that's going to help the promoter? Is this something that's going to help the series? Or is it a win-win for everything? Tyler, once again, 105 Speedway did a post on how to combat the metric frame shortage by getting together with a company to seemingly build ground-up frames for limited due to the. Okay, well, here is where. Remember that this sounds like the ARTS trucks.
Sure does.
Remember that? ARTS trucks is exactly, back for dirt folks. You may not know about those. This was way back in the early 2000s when that series came about. That was a cost-effective measure to help it and we started seeing this in street stocks and super stocks, to where the stock stuff, you couldn't find it. And that's where, okay, go ahead and run a square ass in, and go ahead and run tubular A-arms. Then you can go ahead and run a square front end and all of that. And it was that was more cost effective and easier for the racer, that part. But when it got down to when the shocks came into play, and when
they didn't have a shock
springs,
arts,
when all of that shit started happening, that's where something that was done for the betterment became something that deterred a lot of folks.
Those with money continued to race, because it was an class there when it first started. I mean, you had the super late model guys doubling up with that.
Yeah, I mean, I love the concept. I mean, if there is actually someone that's going to supply, this is IROC. This is kind of the IROC concept right here. That's going to be the thing right there. If these things are equally done, I'm sure they're going to be built.
Are they
going to
run for IMCA points though? Or I bet. Well, they run every week, right? They run every week
What
at 105.
does.
So I got a feeling that they're going to let the limiteds run because it's a limited thing. The big mods is IMCA modified, so this is for the limited mod.
Damn, that is right. Hot off the presses right there.
Yeah,
man.
55 minutes right there.
Man, how about that timing right there? God dang it.
You
Why did
said-
they call us?
Promoter of the year should have called us.
Promoter of the year. Come on, my man. That's what we do this here. So
Maybe thought it was Monday a day late.
and that is a great point right there. When asking about these aftermarkets, I thought it was an IMCA thing, but exactly right there with Wesley. They are not IMCA. They are they're 105.
Yeah, 105.
They are 105 Speedway. So man, that is some breaking news right there. I cannot wait to see that one evolve because you know who I would like to talk to today to ask this question with that is Howard Willis. Because I mean with Howard Willis, I mean that is the Mr. Limited Modified right there in the world, but especially right there at 105 as he wins another championship this year. I would love to see his thoughts on that because I mean his stuff's pretty homegrown.
Yeah. So I mean that's a interesting way to handle it. I mean it's kind of like they tried that in Houston with the Pro Stocks. Remember when they tried to do that? And then they tried the 360 truck chassis when 360 was running the trucks, sponsoring the trucks. So it's not an unprecedented move, and it's not like they're saying you can only run the new Johnson chassis. They're just saying here's an alternative to run with the limited modifieds. If it's not IMCA sanctioned, do what the hell you want.
Well, and this is where I can see to kind of I only have shit to compare things to, guys. So this is and now I'm dealing with it again. I mean, I dealt with this a long time ago when we were racing, but it's like the crate engine. The crate engine is something that is put in place to help minimize the cost to racers, which it does. The crate itself, by the way, Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, GM Performance, best price on the crates, 602s and 604s that you're going to find in the country. If you need a quote, message me. I'll get you one. If somebody quotes you something better, message me again and we'll beat it. But the crate was developed to help curb the costs. And I mean, it could not outrun the open motor, as it shouldn't. I mean, because you get a home built or shop built or whatever built open motor. The crate,
the open motor should always kick ass.
The crate is not going to be able to beat it. The crate is designed, you run that thing 6,800 RPMs. That's what you're going to get out of it. That's designed for longevity. All the shit inside of it's new. That's what it's designed for economical. The house engine, the home built is going to whip its ass anytime. So, I mean, then you had, okay, what about if save a little money and go ahead and buy a crate, but then ship it off and pay $12,000 to get it?
I never understood that.
And that, you know, I mean, I can tell you that you know what I run into right now as I'm trying to work with crates is it's like, okay, we got to find an engine guy with those IMCA seals. Okay, and the engine builders are not so anxious to jump to be the one to do the work and then stamp one of those IMCA seals on.
It's always something.
Two people get shit on when that happens. Whoever sold that motor, and number two, the engine builder. And it's a bad problem for the engine builder. So, hey, man, it's a great concept. I love it. What I want to see is I would love to see, and I would think that there would be some kind of test with this new chassis where you go out and you test this with an active, a good car, a front-running car. With Howard Willis. Go get one of these and let them test on brand new tires. Brand new tires. Let them sit there and jerk on those things and twist and tweak and do stuff to them all session, and let's see how it measures up. And if it measures up somewhat close, and I say somewhat because this is going to be a new design, well, shit, boom.
Yeah.
Great concept. If it saves the racer money. Because that's what needs to happen. I mean, we're
every time there's dual chassis components, though, usually it doesn't save money.
Well, look, I just sat and watched 4 or 5, however many days of Snowball Derby action, and the one thing that that I was really paying attention to was on the days, and this was even with weather-related issues in there, but Thursday from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, they practiced non-stop. Supers and pros, rotating, an hour, boom, 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 just going all this time. And you know who won out on that one? Whoever the hell's selling those tires.
Oh yeah.
Holy smoke! It's like $870 a set. $870 a set for a pro, and it's a lot of money. And that's where I can say with what I see with SRL, limited practice time, limited tires, they're saving the racer money. But Snowball Derby's a big race, so is it obvious that I have a hard-on for trying to save racers money? That's kind of my thought.
Well, you were such a big budget racer yourself, that unlimited pocketbook you had back when you were racing.
Oh, I didn't have any money. My dad's budget. I had nothing. I still have nothing. That's why I don't race now. The one car owner that I drive for, thank God he covers it all.
Yeah.
But, hey, man, this has been, I did not expect this to go this direction here this evening. I didn't know that we were going to, number one, have this new limited modified chassis drop. And I didn't know that this discussion here, I was going to save the IMCA modified South Texas Series for the end. I'm glad we started with that.
Yeah, well, I kind of jumped the gun. I didn't realize you had that written down over there. So
Yep. And yes, the other part right there, that is a great point right there. Factory stock guys, Shane Turner told me, I'm sure Shane Turner was picking up tires for somebody by the time all this shit was over. Because if you figure all of that and all of these tires that are going to be making their way down here, and man, let me tell you, they don't run a lot of laps on those tires. Yeah.
100 lap session, that's it.
You factory guys that are getting these tires, man, you are getting a deal right here because these things, I was standing in Derek Thorne's pit when he pitted the first time on Sunday. He comes in and pits, and he's front of the pack. I think he was
top five, yeah,
fourth or fifth by the time that all circled itself around. They pulled the tires off of that car, buddy, and I think that was right around lap 100, because there were early cautions. They run 75 nonstop, then they throw a yellow if that's the case. They come in and they change those tires. They pull those tires off, and even on that surface over there, dude, they clean those things off, and damn, they look good.
Looked almost new.
Yep. Jamie Fuller has a bunch. I bet he does. I saw him down there. I saw him down there this weekend. So this turns into, I was thinking about that over the weekend because I saw a lot of our Texas friends down there, a lot of our Texas dirt friends, which that's really cool. You go down there, and it's still not as much as it used to be, but you just run into a lot of Texans, and that's all right. That's what it's all about.
And the more successful Houston is, the more Texans we'll run into down there.
And there's a buzz over there in Florida. There is a buzz over there. The fact that Houston is going to have dates that are already set in stone and that are going to be, 11 or whatever. And I talked to a couple of different people down there that are, associated with maybe different racetracks or, the one I was at. And they are totally on board with trying to make something work because they understand the travel. And they understand that it's hard for the Texans to get over there to any of those racetracks when you have 4 races. But now that there's 11, they want to try to figure out something to where it's going to be more conducive for our guys to go down there. At the same time, they want to work with our folks here to try to push their guys down here.
Mm-hmm. The interstate goes both directions.
Yeah, and the eyes of that whole circle over there really seems to draw into, 1, the Outlaws, and 2, the trucks. That those could be the ones that with some kind of tri-state or quad-state, whatever it would end up being with all of those, that those could be the 2. You figure between South Alabama, even if you could work in Cordele over in Georgia, obviously 5 Flags, maybe you talk to Rusty over at New Smyrna. I know they kind of have different things over there right there. Houston, it could be something really cool. Mobile. I talked to Mr. Eddie Shoemaker, and he's fired up and ready to go and wants to. He said he might have to come to Texas and check things out and have a meeting. I'm like, oh man.
You're like, I know the announcer and I know the promoter.
Yeah, it's like whatever you do, Eddie.
Not the same guy.
Oh,
Not the same guy.
I'm like, whatever you do, Eddie, don't any executive decision that needs to be made, don't call me because I don't know. Because I'll probably agree, and then I'll be fired, and I don't want that. I need these gigs badly at the moment. And this all started because we were conversating that the South Texas Shootout is coming up this weekend at South Texas Speedway. Just a massive card of action that you're going to have right there at Corpus Christi. You mentioned the W word, the R word right there. Let's hope that doesn't become a factor. So again, any additional information that you're looking for, and it looks like a pretty jam-packed night on Thursday. Of course, Friday is going to be qualifying nights. I believe most of those series are going to be running double heats, so you'll have that. You'll draw. I think it's a draw, and then you run your set of heat races, and they invert those, and late models will qualify. Really hoping to see a deluge of late models here. I know last year it was a decent late model count. I thought that there were going to be more there, especially right here at the end of the season. So hopefully that's going to be, a massive turnout of race cars that you have hauling to Corpus Christi. I think the limited modified race is just
they'll be fine on
huge.
They'll be fine.
Let's take a look.
20%. It's always 20% in Corpus.
That's it. Oh man, a little pass and shower. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Make your plans. You can make a weekend out of that one right there. Get your little holiday, pre-holiday trip. Go down to the beach, go do some shopping, and then catch some great action. Even if it's just Friday and Saturday night at South Texas Race Ranch, going to be a fun one. What else have we missed? I saw I think the Southern Thaw put their dates out. I believe it's in March, I think is what I saw. Tim, yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Back at it. It's going to be back to back. My poor wife is going to forget what I look like. I've been gone so much. I don't know. She may like that for all I know. She might be like, is there a race the following week?
So you racing? Just come back at Christmas time.
Oh, I can't go the following. Get one kid out of school the following week. One graduates.
Oh, from the Eagles?
From the UNT. From the UNT. One down. Get the other one out, and it's going to be time to retire. Do this full time.
The hell, you almost do it full time now. Almost do it full time now.
Yeah. So anyway, yes. So South Texas Race Ranch, and then we'll just keep moving forward. I know as well. I'm looking forward to in February. You'll have the Big Chill Enduro happening over at Waco. That's going to be a really cool deal there as well. Hopefully, weather will cooperate there. Come by JT's Trailers on Friday. What's going on there, man? Don't threaten me with a good time when it comes to stuff like that, especially on these traveling races, because it's
just take you some twisted tea.
Take some twisted tea and go on out there and just hang with the posse. Hang with the posse. All right, let's talk about Snowball Derby. We've waited long enough. Bobby, and first before we dive in, I do want to give a big tip of the hat to the staff at Five Flag Speedway, because they did one hell of a job on getting that. Friday, friends, was supposed to be when people were talking about whether it be online or on the stream. When they were talking about Friday was not supposed to happen, I can tell you Friday was not supposed to happen. It was supposed to be 100% chance of rain.
It's supposed to rain out Friday night and Saturday night.
By 9 a.m. By 9 a.m. on Friday morning. Light drizzle. They had to work. I mean, they worked their ass off. You had Air Titans. And I figured out the hard way why the Air Titans work so good. I get there and I'm just kind of standing over there in turn one bullshitting with somebody. One of those things went by blowing the air up against the wall. It like rips the paint off the wall and comes and hits me right in the face. Yeah. Don't stand by one of those. They're able to get that done. Somehow all of Friday gets in. Everything.
They started 3 hours early. What time did it start raining on Friday night?
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't rain until Saturday morning, probably about 3 a.m. is when the heavy stuff started.
Because I was watching the Pensacola weather all week, and they said that Friday was just going to be horrible. Saturday was going to be pretty much non-existent, and so
yeah,
I'm glad it worked out the way that it did.
Yep. And yeah, great point. I mean, qualifying in the daylight, that was definitely something different right there. And but they're still just as damn fast.
I like that one-day show, though, with the LCQ right up in there. I understand why they run the Derby and only the Derby on Sunday, because it's so special. I get that, but that was nice having it as a one-day show, not running it before the snowflake.
Oh man, that really was badass. I mean, and the whole thing was there was still plenty of time because it started. I mean, they said Derby at 2:00, and the last chance started later than it was supposed to, and it was still done, and they raced into the night. I thought that was pretty cool as well, because that's one of the things that I was monitoring on pit road is as it got later, the last 100 laps, you had it started getting dark and it started getting cold. So you were watching a lot of guys. You were watching a lot of guys that were doing air pressure changes throughout the whole deal, and it was really fascinating to watch all of the different things that were going on right there with strategy. And a good race, you tore up a bunch of shit. We'll talk to the most obvious one, but the wreck there with Noah Gragson, my goodness, dude, that was brutal.
Looked brutal. I remember watching the replay. There was somebody's fender that was just hanging up in the air.
Yeah, dude.
And then it hung up in the air, 30 feet in the air, and just hung up there for a minute, and then it finally crashed down with the rest of the cars.
It was just sitting there. I mean, it was just flapping around. You're exactly right, man. It's like, when is that thing going to come down? But I felt horrible for Noah Gragson for two reasons. I talked to him before the race, and I saw him on pit road, and he was like sitting there, chilled out, and the dude was asleep in a chair. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe that's how he prepares himself.
Yeah,
maybe that's
Tim Richmond style.
Yeah, maybe that's what he's doing. So, kind of doing some other things, and then I walk up on him a little bit later on, and I'm like, dude, you ready to go? And he's like, Rodney, I feel horrible. He's like, I feel like shit. I mean, the dude had. I hope he didn't have the flu because I was talking directly to him, but he said he felt horrible. He said that the night before, and he was very clear. He's like, this is an illness. This is not
hungover. It's a real illness. Yeah.
This is not anything else. And that dude
probably would have felt better if he was hungover.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, that dude was struggling throughout the pre-race. The guy, I think, would have rather have been anywhere else than there. And I started thinking about that because he was solidly there in the top 5, the top 10 for a good while until all hell broke loose right there. And it did, man. It destroyed a shit ton of race cars, man. Eric Jones, I was a little concerned about Eric Jones after that happened right there because he had the Sawalich car up underneath him. The way that worked out.
What was the bigger wreck, the modified wreck or the super late model wreck?
Modified wreck was horrible, dude. The modified wreck, simply because the open wheel, whatever, and Caden Honeycutt. I've
never seen him that pissed off before.
I saw something there. Somebody rough luck for Caden Honeycutt. Definitely was that, but dude, the severity of that was one of those where he got popped in the door. And it sounded, the wrecks, it sounded like an explosion.
Mm-hmm. Just a pop.
That's what it sounded like. And it was so bad that it was one of those things. You know how people go ape shit at the Derby when you have a wreck like that? Dead silence. Silence. And it's like, my goodness, please come out of the car. Shit, I didn't expect him to come out of the car the way he did.
That's the most pissed off I've seen him maybe ever. A hot minute for sure, but he was pissed.
And he should be, because, and I mean, I don't know, and this may have been the thing with the Gragson thing as well, but in that race right there in the modifieds, at the start, that car up on the outside went nowhere, man. Absolutely nowhere. It just sat there, and they piled up, and man, that was brutal. Brutal, Caden. Man. But he bounced back, and I think he wound up 9th yesterday.
Top 10, top 10
yesterday.
So
a good run right there for him. Looked like Derek Thorne would be the man, but I mean, just too much time with Jeske. I mean, that dude is just so good, isn't he?
He's just been on a rail the last 4 or 5 years down there.
I tell you, man.
Because he actually should be a 3-time winner.
I know.
Because that first year you and I went, we thought he was going to win, and he got roughed up or something at the very end.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was kicking their ass all day that day on a rail, and then something happened. I want to say one of the Smith guys roughed him up, or Noah Gragson. I think that's when Noah Gragson roughed him up.
Yeah.
But yeah, they. I don't know, dude. It was fun until you had the two that you just knew they just there. How did our buddy Davidson say? Him and John Kelly used to have magnets. Old Greg Davidson and John Kelly. Those old boys right there, they definitely got magnets on those cars.
Here it is, courtesy of our friends at Racing America. This is what went on right there. There they go. You watch it happening. There's contact. And what that video doesn't show is coming out of the corner Nassie definitely steps out on him a little bit. And as they go down into the corner, it's like, holy smoke. I mean, to try to watch him go down into the corner and watching that live, you know it's coming.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was watching it on TV and knew it was coming.
Yeah, you absolutely know it's coming as that's happening right there. And the thing is, I mean, they had raced extremely close all day long, and you just knew that it was going to come to a head right here. When you come down to the end of the Derby right there.
What was that, less than 10 laps to go?
Oh,
8 laps to go?
Yeah, this was, I believe this was 8 laps to go. I mean, there it is right there. And was there some contact? Maybe. Did he take the air off him? I mean, I don't know. But around they went, and, of course, Nassie continued.
I'm surprised Bubba didn't continue because he would have started 6th or 7th because there was only 6 or 7 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah. The car could have continued. I think. I ran down there to kind of see what the heck was going on, and it was definitely in a place to where it could run. I mean, they had to do some work up on the right front to kind of take a look at what's going on there, but the damage wasn't substantial enough, I don't think, to where it was going to prohibit him to not be able to continue. Yeah. And we've got a shot right here that'll come up. This is the slow motion. Here they come out of the corner, and that right there is where you can't tell. Nassie goes up the racetrack. Bubba sticks the nose in right there. And there you see Nassie coming down just a little bit, and Bubba's not going to lift. And they come together. And here we go. Just when you think that maybe that feud right there was going to calm itself down, that all of that was going to cool off, I'll tell you what, man, both of these guys, see, there's some contact right there. These guys have just been running at such a great pace all season long. First part of this race, it looked like it was going to be Pollard's. But there they go right there. What do you think? Did he crowd him?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, he crowded him. He even admitted it. He said, I crowded him down. It's 7 laps to go in the Snowball Derby. Yeah, I'm going to crowd him down.
Yeah.
I don't think he expected Bubba to go in as far as he did, even though he's trying to crowd him. But I talked about the before that, the racing with Ty Majeski and Stephen Nassie. That was damn good for 8 laps. I think that is where you see the upper experience from racing in the Craftsman Truck Series, where he was able to race side by side with Nassie for 8 laps on the outside, was Ty Majeski.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you that's the one thing. Majeski raced with those guys all day long, and I'll tell you, Ty Majeski, man, that dude was super smooth. That dude was super clean. Yeah, they're going to touch each other a little bit. But I got to tell you, man, it is such a joy to watch that dude.
For side, I mean, yeah, did they make a couple of side-by-side contacts?
Oh,
yeah, they did. But
yeah,
damn, they still, by today's standards, they raced clean as hell for 8 laps side-by-side to try to win the Snowball Derby.
All of these guys, and I mean, Derek Thorne's another one. I mean, Derek Thorne, you watch these guys, and what do these guys have in common? They're not from South. So sometimes that's something where we talk about some of the mindset right there of the South guys versus the North. But so then after that, my man Ryan McCulloch gets to go down to pit road and talks to
guys,
Bubba
we caught
Pollard.
up with Bubba Pollard, who gave the fans probably the 6 or 8 greatest laps we've ever seen at the Snowball Derby with you and Stephen Nassie. But it all comes to naught as you guys got tangled up over in turn 1. What'd you see from your seat?
Correct. What else you don't know? It's the same shit, different day.
This racetrack, you have a love-hate relationship with this place. Some of your highest highs, some of your lowest lows. This event means a lot to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we work for all year. So try it again next year. We got a good race car, put ourselves in position to win, and could have raced it out, but it didn't happen that way.
A frustrated Bubba Pollard will come back to the Snowball Derby next year.
Yeah, indeed he will.
Did you try to chase him down to get him?
Or
did you know better?
I did. I actually went down. And he looked at me and he was like, kind of gave me a, not right now, man. I know he didn't want to do that interview right there.
Yeah.
So I think that place would have gone ballistic if Bubba would have got on the house mic. And I think Bubba, knowing that he was on the house mic, he may have he may have given it a little more.
Yeah,
on the house feed. So you had that, and then how about a quick listen from the other combatant? Again, all of this courtesy of Racing America.
And I ain't going to sit here and lie and try to say I wasn't trying to crowd Bubba, and I'm sure he'll sit here and say, that he was trying to kind of get in the left rear to get me a little bit out of the track, and we're just racing to win, and I'm not super upset about it. I knew kind of sitting there under that red flag that it was either going to be checkers or wreckers, basically, and them guys had some fast cars behind me, and just unfortunate. I hate it for the both of us. Definitely don't want to end up with wreck race cars, but going for wins, it happens sometimes.
You mentioned about fast cars. We talked last year after this race. You're on the front stretch, 36 to 3rd, but today, with that quality of cars, you, Majeski, Bubba, on and on and on. They knew you were here. You led the most laps. Heck of an effort for you and the Campy crew.
Yeah. Anthony Campy and the guys, Jimmy and all the guys, they just do such a good job in preparing these race cars. And, we kind of got lucky there qualifying in the top 10, and it was definitely much easier than having to pass 30-something cars. We had a very good race car all race, and definitely always stings a little bit more when you lead so many laps like that and fall a little bit short. But this is short track racing, the Snowball Derby, and anything can happen.
You talk about short track racing. I want to talk to you too about that battle before all the craziness. You and Majeski side by side and just packed in there. That, from all of us watching, some of the best stuff we've seen. That was pretty awesome from here. How was it from your perspective?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I didn't even think I was going to be able to clear him. He just kept getting such good drive off the corner. He definitely had me nervous. We got in there and we rubbed a little bit too, but at the end of the day, like I said, this is a Snowball Derby, and I'm sure there's no hard feelings there. Ty did a great job executing, and congrats to them. Just hopefully next year we can come back and maybe beat them.
There you go. How about that right there,
I
man?
appreciated the hell out of that interview from Nassie.
Mm-hmm.
No bullshit. It seemed like it was brutally honest. I didn't take any. Somebody said he was real arrogant. I didn't notice anything arrogant out of it. I just thought he was being authentic.
Yeah.
In terms of his, he was right. Yes, he's trying to crowd Bubba. Yes, Bubba's trying to take the air off that sport. That's exactly what happened. And they were just two guys go. I think it was more of a racing incident myself. I don't place blame one way or the other. Just because of the fact that it's two guys going for the exact same spot, going for $30,000 to win at the Snowball Derby. And it's not just that it's two dudes that racing for that. It's two dudes that have a history of doing that at that race. Let's not forget, was it 3 or 4 years ago when Nassie dumped Bubba coming out of turn number 4 for the flake?
Yep.
And they DQ'd Nassie, put him dead ass last. So that deal, I appreciated Nassie's honesty. I still want to get one of them hats. I want to get one of them 51 hats.
The what?
The 51 hats.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get one of those, but
yeah. I tell you what, man, it was quite the event right there. The place went bonkers, as that's going to happen when you have those two. But I really think kind of what they were alluding to right there at the end of that sound cut was really those laps that you watch right there. But before all of the carnage, when you did have those two, and then with Ty. And Derek and all of these dudes. These guys. They put on some of the best racing that you're going to find. Just some of the best racing that you're going to find in the country, and it was right there in the Derby. Got to give a good. Gio Ruggiero comes home second there.
From the LCQ.
Yeah, from the LCQ, and not only that, right before the race, he comes down pit road. He comes down.
That's right. What was wrong with that car?
They wouldn't tell me what they were doing. They didn't tell me what they were working on when he came down. I called as he came down, and it was something really quick. He goes shotgun, and he stayed, kept his nose clean somehow. Especially racing through the pack. Travis Braden, what a great story there for him.
Very lucky missing that wreck. Have you watched the replay since you got back?
Yeah, man. I watched. I've watched some of that stuff, but man, I'm so glad for Braden. He does have he has the win. He has the win in 2019, but that dude had completely stepped away from racing. To take care of business. He had other things that he needed to.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize he worked for Hendrick now.
Yeah,
as a chassis specialist.
Yeah, works on the 48 car. So he had a really good, solid run right there. He faded back a little bit, but then when it came time to push came to shove, and actually right at the end, he was. I think
that wreck helped. That wreck helped. That took out everybody from fourth to 12th.
Oh yeah.
right in there.
Cole Butcher and Matt Craig. Cole Butcher at the end as well. I thought Cole Butcher might be the one. He just couldn't. Nobody. By the time all that shit shook itself out, I mean, there was nobody. There was nobody that's going to get close to Majeski. Once they finally get going. Once again,
Ty was gone.
He was gone. He was gone. I mean, that dude is so good. And congratulations to Ty Majeski as he wins him another Snowball Derby there in spectacular fashion. And for the Texans, mentioning right there about Caden Honeycutt, man, that did suck in the modified race because I think he had something for him in that one. I think he was going to be something to deal with. Let me tell you who was fun to watch. On Friday night in the modified race, the same thing happened. Our man Joe Armandia, I think he started middle of the pack before the race. Joe comes down pit road, and he comes down, and James Cole and the crew, they were doing something on the left side of the car. They're sitting there working. He goes back out. He has to start in the back of the pack. Cody Stickler was in the back of the pack because he actually won the pole, but they offered up $5,000 if he would do the old start in the back.
Yeah, that was a no-brainer as fast as he is at Pensacola.
And one of the coolest things was, as that race started going, Joe Stickler probably had half a straightaway, but Joe was just keeping him in his sights. And Joe at one point was in fourth.
Yeah, hit the wall with like 10 laps to go.
Man,
yeah.
Joe,
inside wall.
Oh, man, Joe. I was sitting there watching Joe, and I'm like, man, what year is this? This reminds me of the Joe Armadillo in the front all the time days. That was really cool.
It was those badass new on-demand shirts.
It had to have been.
Those Armadillo shirts were badass. They look great. Just like this weekend. I don't know if there's still time or not, but you got to go to On Demand Shirts and order your shirts for this weekend for the shootout down at South Texas Speedway. Those, if you hadn't had a chance to see those, go to the Facebook page on ODS, On Demand Shirts, and find it. They've got a video of the Armadillo shirts that look fantastic, and then they've also got a video of what they did with the South Texas Race Ranch, South Texas Shootout. Shirts on there too. So 2 kick-ass short designs from our friends at ODS.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be there this weekend. They will be there in force this weekend. So go check out the merchandise right there. They've got a few drivers over there, and they handle all the merchandise there, like Bobby said, for the race ranch. So, and don't forget, I mean, if you were looking for your, I know I see a lot of guys are starting to put up their new paint schemes and how they're going to wrap their cars and all that, man. Excuse me, not just shirts. I mean, whether it be caps, whatever the thing is right
Hoodies.
there. Yes, absolutely. Check in with those guys, and man, they will make you some good looking stuff. Shit, they make us look good.
That's right.
They make us look extremely good. Huge thanks to On Demand Shirts for all that they do, as well as Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet GM Performance Parts. And we also have to give some love to our additional partners right here on the Revved Up Sports Show. Let's step away for just a second for a word from our man from up north, the Yankee himself, Phil Whipple.
Hey racers, Phil Whipple here with the Revved Up Sports Show. For the past year, you've heard us talking about our partners over at Generation Race Cars. I'm proud to say they're back again this year, and they're off to a great start. Generation Race Cars, located in Springtown, Texas, continues to offer new chassis body combos all the way to turnkey sport mods and limited modifieds. All cars are built the same as you've seen in Victory Lane with drivers like Alex Hickam, Jeff Shepard, and Dean Abbey. All customers are valued and treated equally, so why not join the winning team? Justin Long is committed to giving each and every customer the time they deserve, along with a commitment to bring quality into every build. If you're ready to join the team, give the guys over at Generation Race Cars a call today at 817-528-2947. You put a lot into your racing program, so why not take it to victory lane with Team GRC?
Thank you, Phil Whipple. Eloquent sound of Phil Whipple and Generation Race Cars. Great partners we have here on this program. I like that question. So is it an asphalt thing for the second place guy to be mad when it was him that should have checked up? Well,
good question.
That, depending how you look at that, a lot of folks said that Bubba had the line. Bubba's a second place car, Wesley, the second place car. In my opinion, Bubba did not have the line. He wasn't at the door. He wasn't at the door.
He was right front. To me, his right front fender was at the left rear wheel.
At the left rear tire is where he was. But this is where the spotter, I would assume, Stephen Nassie's spotter was like 26 inside.
At that point, you got to call the 26 inside.
You
Even
have
if
to.
he didn't have the spot, you've
have
got to
to.
say 26 inside, 26 inside.
If he just maybe has the emblem of the manufacturer there, yeah, maybe don't call inside. Because what's going to happen in that case, because I watched it all day, and I know that we say at the end of the Snowball Derby things are going to happen right here, but I guarantee you if
that same shit would have happened on lap 5.
yeah, exactly. We watched throughout the day, different times right there where guys would lit up. I mean, when you dive, because the way you drive that track, you're going to dive to the inside. You want to be as close to that wall as you can. That's the best grip. That's the best bite that you're going to get going in right there. And you did have guys that would lit up. I would have been curious to see, in that situation, had it been Majeski and Thorne, what would have happened?
The complete opposite.
Yeah, and that's not anything. That's not talking shit about Bubba or Steven. Those guys race different.
I think you would have seen it. I think you would have seen him race side by. If it was Thorne and Majeski, that side by side battle could have lasted the last 12 laps, to determine the winner of the Snowball Derby.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think honestly, Bobby, if that would have been Bubba and Ty, Steven and Ty, Bubba and Derek, Steven and Derek, they could have probably raced side by side.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it was those two.
Yeah, those two with the history they have, you knew something was going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Great conversation right there. Great conversation. Yes, I saw that as well. Yeah, the Logan Boyettes, and I'll say it once again, cleanest shitters that you were going to find are the Boyettes. Man, those folks, man. Hard to make a speaking of Stephen Nassy, hard to make a classy porterlet shitter. But man, those Boyettes, man, always clean.
Well, look at it this way: they have the executive shitters that they have over there, the ones on the trailer. Those are always nice, but their porta johns inside there are just exceptional. There's none better.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You expect the one on the wheels, we call that the executive shitter.
Yeah.
You expect that one to be super nice, but even the plastic porta johns, top notch, both sides, male and female.
And pro tip, guys, when it comes to porta johns, I mean, I would think people know this, but then I go places. I mean, even there, you know, it's like, and especially men, because I don't know if ladies do this or not, but if you're gonna go take a shit in there, I don't care if it's, you know, you're one of the first people in there that day, or if you're one of the last people in there that day. If you take a shit, close the lid.
Yeah, because you don't want to see that when you first walk in there.
And not so much just to seeing it, but when it's open, that shit is like oozing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
it's like,
especially when it gets hot and humid.
Yeah, it's like rising, and it's like, man, you walk in there and it's like, just close it. I mean, even if it's just a slight shit.
Yeah.
But if you go like at the Derby, you go in there and eat one of them big old super dogs, or two of them full of mustard, close that lid. Shit. Literally, because that shit rises, man.
But was Logan even there this weekend?
Yeah, he actually was.
Oh, okay. I didn't see him on. I mean, I know he wasn't racing anything, but I didn't see him pop up on anybody's Facebook page.
Yep.
I thought he might have just taken the weekend off.
Yeah, he was down there working. I saw him on Friday. Saw him on Friday, or maybe it was Thursday. Maybe it was both days. But I can tell you what, that was a dude that the look on his face was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks to be here. It was like, I asked him, I said, so how is it? He said it sucks.
Yeah. I can imagine. Be used to racing any division.
Yeah.
And then you're not racing at all.
Dude hadn't missed one of those in a long, long time. And it'll happen again next year, and everything gets fired off. Pavement and dirt. I mean, it's what we'll actually call the 2024 season. We'll start in January. January right off the bat.
Chili Bowl.
Big ones coming up. Absolutely. Then you got the Red Eye. That'll be happening in Florida, as well as you'll have 50-lap races for the pros and the supers right in January. Boom, they're right back on the racetrack. But again, you still have one left in 2023. South Texas Race Ranch coming up this weekend. Going to be a big-ass show. And jam the place. Jam the place if you can. It's
going to be a lot of fun. Those for some reason, the shootout always has a miraculous ending.
Mm-hmm.
For the last couple of years, it always has, not necessarily controversial, although they have been, But they just always have a uniqueness for having some pretty outstanding finishes in all those races. And when you start racing for $5,000 to win, anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be coming up this weekend. Of course, if you can't get there in person, you can catch it on Race on Texas, as they will have all of that for you Friday. Hell, I think they're doing Thursday, Friday,
Friday, and Saturday. Yeah.
Good stuff. It's been a fun show right here, guys. If you missed that breaking news, hell, we missed it. So thank you all for being interactive, because, hell, they make the show happen right here. It's our contributors right here. You've got the new limited modified chassis. We'll continue to try to chase that down. And we're also going to chase down the South Texas IMCA Modified Series. Bug them until they just talk to us to leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah, well, that's how half the guests get on here.
That's how it always works. All right, guys. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Corpus Christi. Bobby, you gonna make that one, my man?
Working on it. Working on it. Looks like I'm gonna try. I got one logistical hiccup, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Great final post right there from Tyler. 2024 is going to be some of the best time to be racing or going to watch, from Mod Wars to Outlaws, even to High Limit. Oh, yeah, High Limit. Yeah, the Sprint Car War now.
That's right. They're split.
Sprint Car War now. Holy moly.
Casey Kane's running High Limit.
I know. What? Doesn't this sound like familiar?
Did you see their schedule? That is a hell of a schedule they put out. High Limit.
Save it one more time. Yeah, I saw that, man.
The hell of a schedule they put out.
So I'm curious to see. So obviously Casey Kane, well, he's somewhat affiliated with that.
Brad Sweet's driven
Brad
for him
Sweet,
for 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
So I'm going to be curious to see how this is all going to work out, because is this going to be? Are we going to have a war back and forth right here, to where you're going to have what I hope doesn't happen is that these two. I know that they don't need to be, shaking pom-poms and shit for each other, but I hope this isn't one thing to where they act, at least they don't act like the other doesn't exist, is what I hope happens. Again, they don't need to co-sanction events, and they don't need to be doing all this, but again, here's another situation to where, and I would suspect that this is even more, that here's another divide. The racers are going to have to choose what they want to do.
I think they'll race some of it. They've got their typical, they got that basically the All-Star Circuit of Champions schedule they got. They start out in speed weeks at East Bay, just like everybody else. East Bay, Golden Isle. Then they start coming down. They run Texarkana on Friday, April the 12th, and they've got a big show at TMS on April 13th, and they go up to RPM, Red Dirt Speedway, then Southern Oklahoma. Our buddy John Webb. Southern Oklahoma's booked them, so they got the Lakeside Speedway races should be good. Ours Outlaw Speedway, that's an interesting one. Port Royal, yeah.
Port Royal, a couple of dates there.
I-70 Motorsports Park, a couple of those.
God, they're gonna be ripping that place. Holy moly!
Lake Lucas Oil for a couple of dates there at the end of June. And Eldora booked them, which I thought was you knew that wasn't going to be a. You knew that wasn't going to be a problem just because Tony Stewart sold the series to Kyle Larson. But if you got to pay attention to some of these, when you go look at their schedule, you got to pay attention to more than just the dates. You got to look at the actual day of the week. Like Kokomo Speedway, Tuesday night. Outlaw Speedway, Thursday night. Utica Rome Speedway, Friday night. Port Royal, Sunday night. Tuesday night at Grandview. Tuesday night at Davenport. Tuesday night at Eagle Raceway, Wednesday night at Lake Ozark Speedway. You just got to pay attention, because all that is going to be is just kick-ass content for Flow Racing.
Oh man, that's the big Flow Racing.
They're involved. They're financially invested.
Oh yeah, and the viewers. That's going to be the winners right there, because you're gonna have something every freaking night. You're going to have something every night. Between all of these, and the Texas Motor Speedway thing, I think with everything else going on over there, we don't know what's going to happen with the big track. Are they going to reconfigure it? Are they going to do whatever? Nobody wants to go there anymore, and all of that. I think this would be a great time for Texas Motor Speedway to supplement themselves financially right there with
$12,000 to win.
Yeah, I think it would be massive for them to get that dirt track like humming. Because that.
Well,
and that may help the other one. Yeah.
ASCS is going to run there too.
Yeah, and that may help the other place too. That may help the other place, the big track. I don't know, man. I've said for good whiles, but damn shame that place is sitting, because that
dirt track is nice.
Dude, that thing is nice. That thing is way nice. That's back when they gave a damn back then when they put that thing together, man. That is a gorgeous racetrack.
That's very nice. I mean, the only one that comes close to rivaling that track is the dirt track in Charlotte, and Lucas Oil.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw something there. I saw a comment about Devil's Bowl, so I don't exactly know what to believe when I'm seeing some of this stuff, but it's like, Devil's Bowl is closed, but I've heard some whispers that somehow they're trying to bring that back. I think that is really going to be a tough pill to make happen if, number one, the Edwards don't own it. If it was sold, I don't know how that could happen. So, hey, man, I would love for that place to be open, because that thing right there, I mean, that's one of the crown jewels that you got in this state right here. So, yeah, make that happen, y'all.
That'd be fun. I mean, we've been to a couple of the Outlaw show, the support shows.
Yeah, make that happen. Yeah, that would be great. We need that.
Yeah, we've been to a couple of support shows there at the with the media credentials and stuff before. So,
and then we got the big old Cotton Bowl.
That's right, with World of Outlaws. Did you see all the Texas dates for World of Outlaws? We posted it. I mean, you were busy at the Derby, but we posted it.
I didn't see. I thought it was only one. Or the 2 dates here.
Kennedale.
Oh, Kennedale's on there too?
Kennedale's on there. Our 67's on there, I think.
Nice.
Big O's on there.
Damn.
Yeah, they got like 6 or 7 dates in Texas.
That's pretty good. And the Dirt Late Models will be at Rocket. I want to make that one. I want to try to get there for that one. It's a lot of sprint car racing, man. It's a lot of sprint car racing. Now you got different options. If you want to watch the large stream.
Yeah,
sprint car racing.
Here's our message from our buddy Phil. There's going to be a $40,000 to win past 300 on a Tuesday night next July. Bigger payday than the mighty Oxford 250 event to be held at Oxford.
Golly.
I don't know if that's breaking news.
On a Tuesday night. And you know what? That place is going to be
jammed.
Packed. Oh, man. Oh, I tell you, man. They got their shit together.
You can always tell the tracks that have a very good local car count and local fan count, because they're the ones that'll pack the shit out of it on a weeknight.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, they can do that for a local show up there. You know, they run local racing and they'll pack it. It's efficient. It's smooth. It's good racing, and shit, man. Dang, that's awesome. Can't wait for that one. I got a feeling I'm going to be glued to a lot of streamers coming up in 2024. By the way, don't forget your streamers. They can obviously try to get to the racetrack if you can. But if you can't, there's lots of folks that work hard to get that into your living room.
Yeah, I might even hear some voices, very familiar voices, when you pick up a Race on Texas stream.
Yeah, never know. All right, guys. Y'all have a great end of the week. Get your ass to Corpus Christi if you're in Texas. If not, catch it on ROT. It's going to be a good one. Looking forward to it this weekend. We'll do it again next Monday. #Real Race Talk. And we are live in Texas. It's the Revved Up Sports Show. You guys be well. Have a great week.